Thank you, everyone. I apologize for my voice a little bit. I overcame a cold, but my voice hasn't fully returned, so bear with me. It's a great pleasure to be here because I come from an organization. We deal with moonshots and moonshot thinking all day long, and hearing how governments are embracing that, it's very delightful to see. I want to tell you the story of XPRIZE, but I can't tell the story without telling you my story. I was born in Iran and raised there, and growing up, I fell in love with the stars. That was my moonshot. I wanted to become an astronaut. And my imagination is what drove me to want to do this. We heard about imagination, inspiration a lot today, and it is important because imagination is one of the most important gifts we have as human beings. And as children, we use it a lot. We grow older, and somehow we become very practical, strict adults, and we don't use it. But it's an essential part of moonshot thinking to allow your imagination really go beyond what is possible and what is acceptable in the society. As a child, I actually drew my spaceship that will take me to space. As you can imagine, when I went around and showed it to my parents and the other family members, nobody believed that I would one day make it come true. Again, this was my moonshot. I drew it, I imagined it, and I wanted to do it. So it was to much delight when in 2006 I actually flew to International Space Station. I could demonstrate how imagination and moonshot thinking pays off, because I not only went to space, but went on a rocket that was very much similar to the one that I drew when I was much younger. So you can use this as a story to tell your moonshot thinkers that they need to actually imagine it, see it in their own mind before they can create it. That moonshot thinking and the way I ended up going to space still had a lot to do with XPRIZE Foundation. I'm not going to bore you with my entire story, but in 2000, early 2000, when I sold one of my tech companies, I'm a tech entrepreneur, I wanted to pursue my dream of going to space. I was not a NASA astronaut, but nevertheless, that didn't stop me from wanting to do what was my childhood dream. And through a long process, I paired up with Peter Diamandis, who's the founder of XPRIZE Foundation, and he shared the same dream with me. And that was the beginning of the XPRIZE Foundation and its first prize, which was a true moonshot for a private company, for people in their garages to build a spaceship to go to the edge of space, 100 kilometers. Not just go there, but go there, come back, and do it again within 2 weeks' time frame. And not just build 2 ships. You have to reuse your first ship. The reason for all these rules were to make sure that it was not a science project. You don't want to do moonshot thinking and create a lot of science projects that does not benefit society or doesn't turn into a business or doesn't become viable. So we built into the concept of this first prize rules that will make sure that once this was achieved, it was something that can go to the next step. And it was demonstrated in 2004 when the prize was won that it was definitely successful, because not only we brought in with that $10 million prize that my family and I sponsored, we brought in $100 million, 10 times in investment in the teams actually competed for the prize. 26 teams from all over the world competed to win the prize. Most of them very small teams, small number of people, small budgets. But nevertheless, $100 million investment in something no one was investing before. And when the prize was won, at the winning of the prize, Richard Branson announced that they will commercialize the design into what is known now Virgin Galactic. Now, I'm going to show you a video of how we go about doing XPRIZes, because now that we had proven the concept, we have now expanded it into many different areas. So let's watch this video.
The XPRIZE Foundation runs incredible large-scale competitions around the world. that set very clear, measurable, objective goals. The first person to build, demonstrate this capability wins the prize money, and the world gets the benefits.
Competitions and prizes can actually bring innovation to solve not just any problem, but really big, challenging problems.
I think we're about setting a high bar and want to set a goal for people that's inspiring, but it's also hard.
When we're designing an XPRIZE, we're looking for something that is audacious and achievable.
Goals that are far beyond where the industry is.
Problems that the markets have failed to solve.
To help people really now dig into their imagination, creativity is everywhere.
We are leveraging the genius of folks from all over the world.
The tinkers, the entrepreneurs, the engineers.
People who are not satisfied with the way things are and know that it can be better.
It's all around hopefulness. It's all about collaboration.
The long tail effect of a prize has probably as much value as the prize itself.
At every single level. I've seen things go from a paper plane to an actual spaceship.
We've seen a private spaceflight revolution.
$300 million invested into the lunar economy. Over 10 million kids integrated in STEM education work.
Technology that increased the rate of cleaning up oil spills.
Technology to help keep people safe.
To make sure everyone is healthy.
Feeding people, educating people, cleaning the air, exploring the oceans or space. We're changing what people believe is possible.
We want to have an ideal future, and it's up to us to build that.
We don't care who you are or where you come from. If you're able to accomplish this task, you win, and that's it.
And that's it, it's that simple. And we have sort of perfected this process with all our competitions. So this is what came out of the first prize. This is Spaceship 2 and the winning design that has been expanded now to carry 6 passengers. Our first team ever was also Virgin. They just went public. So we have now created something that's estimated anywhere between $3 to $5 billion of a new marketplace. So that was not the first thing we did. Through that 10 years that took to win the prize, there was a lot of policy changes that had to take place. The first prize was a private company to launch. There was no way a private company could launch in the United States. There was no agency that could even regulate that. So through a long process of working with FAA, we were able to create an office now that's now a permanent office in FAA that regulates private launch vehicles. And now you have SpaceX, you have Blue Origin, and a whole new industry that's been created around supporting these new space companies. Morgan Stanley is now in the second year of holding a space investment symposium. So as you can imagine, if you had talked about this 10 years ago, no one would believe that there will be a space investment symposium because it was such a high risk and no one was even thinking about potential business opportunities there. We also launched another prize in this area, Google Lunar XPRIZE, that has brought in $400 million. The reason why I bring this up, Astro talked about failure. So in our books, sometimes we look at this one as a failure because the prize was never awarded. No one won the prize. It was extended several times by Google, but still, we had set the target so high that none of the teams could actually achieve it. But we also look at it as a success because even though no one won the prize and the $35 million, not all of it was awarded, $400 million was invested creating a lunar economy. The word lunar economy didn't exist before this prize. Now there is conversation about the lunar economy. You have actually one of the teams that after the prize was expired from Israel made an attempt last year to land actually on the surface of the moon. They landed, they just didn't land all in one piece. So we still awarded them a $1 million Moonshot award when they did that. And you have actually a local team here that we're very proud of and have been working with them closely. Hakuta, who they're also outside here. And they continue with their designs and evolved it now working with different agencies to, to have one of their vehicles actually hopefully land and some of their technology land on the surface of the moon. Since then, we have launched $150 million worth of prizes. And we have another $300 million worth of prizes that are in works. And we are a very global organization. We invite people from all over the world to compete. You heard about some of the areas that we've launched. Healthcare is a big area for us. Oceans, we had many prizes in oceans. We do a lot in exploration, in food, in water. Right now, this year, actually, we awarded 3 prizes. I'm not going to talk about all of them. We're proud of all of them. But I want to mention one that, again, had one of the Japanese teams that rose to be the second place winner. And that was Team Kuroshio that accomplished a great task. And we were very happy to celebrate with them the winning of the second place prize with them. We have 2 active prizes right now. AI and machine learning is at the core of a lot of our prizes and the work we do. We established IBM Watson AI for Good prize a while ago, and next year on the TED stage we're going to announce the winners. This is to use collaboration between humans and AI and machine learning to solve one of the SDGs. And then we have another prize in the area of carbon to take carbon out of the output of a smokestack of a natural gas plant or a coal plant and turn it into a valuable product. And we will announce the winners next year as well. This whole carbon prize was one of the many prizes that we're launching around environmental issues that we're facing, and started a whole circular carbon network coalition and an investment fund, which is part of one of the things we're doing more and more, creating movements around the investment and making sure these solutions that our innovators come up with actually gets to the market. Another prize that's active and we're excited about is the ANA Avatar XPRIZE, and this is one of our favorite prizes in-house because it incorporates a lot of new technologies in robotics, sensing, haptics, AI, VR, AR, all of them coming together and combining into creating a fully designed system that someone can control remotely and make them feel as if they're fully present in the remote location. As we all travel a lot, and I do too, that's why I got this cold. If I don't have to travel to be at a location to do something important, especially if I'm a doctor or a very important specialist, it allows me to go to many places, perform many tasks, and also reduce my carbon footprint, but actually not flying there myself. We look at creating roadmaps, so we're not just doing one-off prizes, but looking into specific domains and looking at the desired future in 20, 30 years and trying to do some research over a period of time to see what are the breakthroughs that are needed to change our trajectory in the area of food, our oceans, to move it toward the direction we want to go. And that's where it leads to our prizes. And these are some of the prizes that we're about to launch next year. One that we're very excited about, and it's a big collaboration, is around the carbon extractor, which is taking about a ton of carbon out of the atmosphere in a period of 24 months. As we all know, this is one of the most important existential crises that we face right now on our planet. And the technologies are advancing, but they're not advancing fast enough, and they're not scaling high enough. So our prize will be focused on trying to push technologies to achieve this goal much faster. AI and machine learning, as I mentioned, is at the core of everything we're doing. And you've heard many speakers talk about the importance of it. We have now AI assistant on space station, even helping the astronauts. There are lots of advancement in connecting human brain together and collaboration between different humans and also with the machine. There are augmentation, human brain computer interface, and other augmentation that will allow us to do a lot more. We even have grown a mini brain in a petri dish, and there's lots of question around whether that brain is actually conscious or not conscious. But as you can imagine, as you read probably in the report also, the lines are being blurred. What does that mean? What does that mean for the society? We are people who actually read and talk about these things all the time. And that makes it easier for us to have a conversation. But there are billions of people out there that don't even understand some of these advancements as they're being made. It has a potential to actually create even a bigger divide. That's why creating awareness, making sure the work we do actually incorporates the public into it so they know what's going on. It is important for us to be open and collaborative, to work together, and most importantly, to understand where the moonshots are and whether they will ultimately benefit the society and benefit humanity as a whole. And working together, we can make sure that happens. Always things that are bad happen in dark corners when people are working in silos and trying to protect what they're working on. But when we open it up and work together, that's when we can ensure that all these technologies, all these advancements will ultimately not just benefit a small part of the society, but the entire society as a whole. One of the work that we've done to facilitate that is to create a knowledge collaborative, to create a place where people, institutions, businesses, governments can share information. They can continue to own their data, but they can create an environment where they can share, collaborate, and drive new knowledge from this massive superset of data that they can work together. And then through collaboration with universities, enterprises, entrepreneurs, we can use these data sets to solve some of these big moonshots that we all have in mind. So I look forward to working with all of you as this Moonshot Symposium will launch a whole new era of moonshot thinking in Japan and globally. Thank you very much.